It's my privilege to be part of ATA. Yeah. From the time I was born, from the time I could remember, I always told my friends I would like to be an African. And
welcome.
For the many years when I spent my childhood, I used to cut my hair so short so that I could resemble like one of the Africans. I do not know why. But thank God, at least I matched with you in many areas. Well, the topic for today is Dark Continent in Research, Publication, Citation, and Internet Web Presence. One of my friends asked me, why Dark Continent? Are you so color conscious? Well, by the way, all of us, we know, Africa is called as Dark Continent not because of the color. And also many of us, as you have been told by many of our teachers that it was not known to the world for many years, so that's why it was called as Dark Continent. But the truth is something else. The truth is, the Europeans, when they occupied Africa, they expanded their imperialism by making an African head over the other African. That means having slave trade run by the Africans. Africans over the Africans. And that's why Africa was called as the Dark Continent. That's history. That's not my story. Well, why did I choose this particular term, Dark Continent? I have something to talk about it. Okay. Well, as I told you in the previous one, that the English people or the Europeans, they silenced the Africans by giving voice for some Africans over the other. That's why it was Dark Continent. But to the context here, we are looking for a voice out of the silence today. Why? I would like to take your attention to one of the great speech made by our church leader. He said, we as Adventists need not worry about what the world is looking for in education. And his introduction in the speech, I hesitate to mention the name. But in the speech, in the introduction, he said, in the world rankings, we have Harvard University, you have Yale and the rest of the other universities with the higher ranking, and they produce students by imparting them knowledge. But we as Adventist education, we should direct them to the source of knowledge. Yeah, I agree completely to it. But it doesn't mean we don't have to help others to share our knowledge, what we have learned from our source. So we are in a way silenced. And there is a need for us to voice out. And if we do not voice out, we still remain in the Dark Continent. It doesn't apply only to Africa, it applies to the whole world. Well, having given you that particular paradigm, I would like you to see how the continent looks at it. Especially from the UN, the Office of the Culture and Education Development Program on Innovation, Higher Education and Research Development, they focus on knowledge economy. They would like to look forward for building the knowledge economy of the continent of Africa so that the continent can rise up towards developed nations, because they are still developing nations. There are many, 54 countries over there still developing over there. Well, looking further, there are African national policies on research and development. They are looking forward for human resource development. Human resource development simply means workers who are completely equipped with knowledge, who can cater to the needs of the continent. In a way, bring development for the whole continent. For this to be done, the institutions, the institutional policies, they would like to develop, and they have developed a lot of policies in developing the knowledge. And in a private setup, private higher education institutions, which comes under this institutional policy, is our Adventist Higher Education Institution. And we also focus on scholarship empowerment. And our our philosophy of Adventist education do support this knowledge, not only keeping within ourselves, but to bring it to the world. Let me quote Dr. Robert. During your keynote address, you did mention, compared with other Christian denominations, the Adventist Church holds a distinguished notion of Christian mission. A twofold basis may explain the perceived uniqueness of Adventist mission. The first, Adventist Church considers itself as a universal movement called by God. Hence, message that is not only about from the Bible, the knowledge what we have gained is not only for the church, but it has to be taken across the whole world. Well, in that context, we create knowledge, we develop the knowledge, and we need to share the knowledge. We cannot just keep it within ourselves. And of course, these ideas are supported by some of the quotes from the scripture, and our General Conference President Ted Wilson, in his write-up, I will not take much time, already they showed me the card. And Dr. Ted Wilson says, we are following the policies, what the government is offering, and we are trying to give quality education because we have these many schools, colleges, and everything over there, and we are doing good. That's the statement our church leader has made. But the question is, are we offering to the world anything? We are learning many things. Are we keeping it only within ourselves? You may answer my question by saying, no, we do a lot of research, we publish, right? That's something very important that we need to do. Okay? But let us find out what is the truth behind it. Okay? How can we share, especially in the context of education? Number one, there are many ways to do it. However, the world would like to absorb any knowledge scientifically, especially the new knowledge. So if we go around and preach about things, they are not willing to listen. Because the world around there, we would like to see your scientific findings. That's where the research comes in. And that's where we bring out new knowledge. And the new knowledge is often developed as a result of research, as I just mentioned. And in the 21st century, the dissemination of knowledge through appropriate technology is seen as the best practice. We present seminar, how many of us attend? You look around. Now, we have just listened to two presenters. Wonderful information. Our keynote speaker gave a wonderful speech. How many of us got benefited? We are just like frogs in the web. We are so happy. We are doing a lot of work. We find a lot of things, doing research, and just share it with few people around, and it just stays with them. That's not our goal. We need to grow much beyond. Now you see here, this is something common for you. How many of you have seen this before? This is our General Conference website, Department of Education, listing down the number of colleges and universities under each division. Now if you see, I have just put one page, the first page, and it has two divisions from Africa, and of course there are a few other colleges on the other side. These are the web address, what you can see over there, saying that if you would like to know more about it, better go in there, you will find more information about it. But according to my analysis, I found that whatever you can see in red over there, can you see? Mm-hmm. These are the wrong web address in the GC site. Okay? If you see there are websites over there, and if you go to the same website, you will not find the website of the college there. And I have to find again and found there are new other website names for those colleges. Thank God the value view is still there. Okay, there is no change in it. Well, I will talk about some of the columns as we move on. Now, Internet in Africa, this is a chart for 2012, around 31% it has increased. We cannot say Africa is backward in terms of using Internet. It says 67 million users are there, but still, it is not great, but it is growing fast. Then, about the speed, you can see they have done so many things to increase the speed, okay? And there are few countries they use to the maximum, and there are few countries they use to the lowest level. And I would like to show some of the websites which may be common for you. Just keep on looking at it. If you have seen it, say yes, okay?
Yes.
I think you know this person.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Now, I had shown you some of the websites of our African higher education institutions. Out of this, there are 2 of them, they are not mentioned in the General Conference website. Okay? And the latest report on AAA committee report on the approval, it has 22 of them. And only 15 exist in terms of websites and other things. Well, let me go on. Why am I talking about the websites and other things? I have a lot of things to say, but the time is running out. The general framework is, I have used 3 theories. All of them, they talk about how do you share knowledge and how can you develop knowledge. And this can happen through networking. Okay? You cannot just keep the knowledge for yourself and tell that I'm going to give the knowledge to the world. Now, the world ranking, they have certain criteria. They look into the websites. What is the size of your website? They also look into your rich files, and they also see how do you appear in Google Scholar. Is your website going to appear in Google Scholar? You have to check for it. If not, you are not going to be ranked well. Visibility. Wherever you are going to be present in the web, that will give you some points to it. And unfortunately, if you see the continent of Africa, you can see over here, yeah, in the top 500 in the whole world ranking, there is only 1 higher education institution. And there are 5 in the top 1000. Okay, this is for the whole world. There are only 5 higher education institutions, those who are visible. Okay, in terms of what you are. So, first of all, in order for us to share, first of all, we need to be visible. Right? If they don't see us, they don't learn anything from us. So, we need to do something about it. Let me move on. Based on this, I made 3 research questions. And I used a certain methodology to get answers from the representatives from each of these higher education institutions. And highly I did web analytics. I just found out how they performed in terms of research publication citations as well as their web presence. Okay, and these are the various steps I followed in the methodology. I'll move on. And the findings. For the first question, how does an Adventist university or a college make a difference in the web presence? These are the following trends, the themes that developed out of the data. They say institutional proceedings. Our website has so much information about what our institution is doing. Secondly, for online financial transaction, payment of fees and other stuff. Thirdly, they also use internet as a means of doing some of the registration procedures and other procedures in an easy way. Lastly, to advertise some of whatever the institution is doing over there. For the from the analytics, if you see, that may not be quite true. If you look at over here, this is the second last column, it says internet web presence. If you see, the highest is for the Babcock University, 2.58. What do you mean by that number? It is the number of times your internet the website has been accessed for the past 5 years. Okay? For the past 5 years, how many times people access your website in comparison with the total number of other websites being accessed. So it gives you only 2.58. Okay? That means what? It also affects what? The ranking. It says it is 129 in the rank in Africa. By the way, that is the first Adventist higher education institution in whole of Africa leading in ranking, 129. Well, let's move on. For the second question, what are the factors that contribute to the low ranking of African SDA higher education institutions ranking in the year 2015 and why? And these are the themes that came up. They say our academic programs are not so, what do you say? They say they are not attractive for the populace, so they are not interested in going into it. And also they talked about the qualification of the personals in the different educational institution and the reflection of student results in different areas of performance. And they talked about the infrastructure development. Many of the respondents said, oh, we still have very old buildings, we need to do something about it. And research and publication, they were talking about, yes, we do research and publication, but we are only within, we publish within. Okay, and lastly, our Adventist education is quite high in terms of tuition, so many may not be interested in even looking at it. Okay, for the third question, how can the Adventist universities and colleges in Africa improve the research publication citation? These are the things: electronic library resources, research publication by staff and students online, seminar and conferences, awareness of RPC, that is research publication citation, to have enough budget, continuous research, and SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization. I'll talk about it in a while from now. Now, recommendations, I would like to run everything so that I can talk about it, because he had shown me the card. I would like to respect you, but I have to finish this. So number one, capacity building, both technical and personal. When I say we need to build technical support in every institution, because it is not necessary you produce research and you publish in a journal and it stays within. In order to market what you have published, when I say market, I'm not talking in terms of business terms, to sell it off, but to reach the people. We need to do something called search engine optimization using keywords. Now, I told you sometimes in the beginning, why did I use dark continent? Now, my keyword dark continent, when it is published, I'm going to get a lot of hits in the beginning itself, because it is something very unique. And when it is going to be published, okay, and when someone is going to type the word dark, there is a lot of possibility, there is a high probability for my article to go front, and people are going to read that, and of course if they are interested, they are going to cite me, and my citation goes. Now, why should my citation go? That means what? I have given my knowledge to that person. Now, for example, sir, can I use your name? Okay, Dr. Robert. Go to Google Scholar, type his full name. You see 15 publications, 2 pages, only 4 citations. One of the article was cited once, another article was cited thrice. Rest of the articles are just sitting there. Not because he did not do a good job, he has done a very good job. But people cannot see, because when you go to Google Scholar, millions of pages open. Which page are they going to see? We produce knowledge, but we are not sharing the knowledge. We say, no, we are publishing. Yes, it is published, but are the people seeing it? There is something what we need to do about. Okay, that's where it says awareness seminars and technical conferences on researchers. Then build web pages and websites. You know, in website there are many web pages. Now, if it is going to be linked with here, each page with quality information, it is going to gain more validity in terms of visibility. And once it is visible, people are going to be there. And once people are going to be there, whatever you have produced knowledge, you are going to share with them. We are not going to walk around the whole Africa and tell this is what I did in my research. Right? But we need to do something about it. Okay, next. Now web pages with community projects, videos, social media connection, and submit RSS feeds. You know, RSS feeds is something very, very important. What is RSS feed? It is really simple synchronization. What is it? Whenever you update your website, automatically whoever had come to your website will get a message. Oh, something has happened in your website. Let me go and check what has happened. That is RSS feed. Are we doing in our website? If you ask me in web analytics, the answer is 0 in our Adventist higher education institutions in Africa. Okay, now journals to be indexed with database like Google Scholar, Web of Science, Thomas Reuters, etc. Today we launched. Where is our boss? Okay, today we launched online, right? Now, is it going to be indexed? Are we going to find it in Google Scholar? Now, I was going into the publication of our sir. Okay, there were some articles which are published in Valley View Theological Journal. But if you can look for Valley View Theological Journal in Google Scholar, you will not find it. So, research is done, presented, published, but cannot be seen by people. So, what is the point? We produce knowledge and keep it. Right? So, this is the time for us to change. Let us look for, these are not something very technical, simple. I was asking one of, please give me a little time, okay? I was asking one of my friend here, I asked him, should I mention your name? He said, okay, but I don't want to mention his name. I asked him, do you know that your research is published? He said, yeah, they were talking about it before I could come here. But I do not know whether they are published or not. Then I said, no, it is published. December 2014 it was published, and February 2015 it came online. Oh, really? Nobody told me. Now, how did I come to know that his journal was published? Because when I was doing my web analysis, I went into that particular university website. Then they said, download the journal. I downloaded the journal. It was in PDF format. Then I saw his name. Oh, his article is published. Now, I tried to get the same journal article from Google Scholar and even from Google. They said, no, it doesn't exist. So, even sometimes we make our journal and keep it. We say it is online. Yes, it is online. Whoever knows the web address will go and see. Those who do not know, they don't see. So, it just stays there. Well, let me move on. Search engine optimization to be enhanced by creating fine keywords. Okay, if you wish, maybe later on we can organize a seminar on this, how to do this and work on that. Okay, increase the production of research both from faculty and students, develop citation rates. That's very important. Okay, recognize and encourage research and the researchers for their contribution of knowledge. Conclusion, on a positive note, a great privilege for Adventist education to spread and share knowledge freely with community. You don't have to pay for this. We don't have to have a huge budget for organizing an evangelistic meeting. Okay, do a simple thing and it will take it by itself. Okay, next, on a note to improve, get connected. Reach the unreached. Bring light into darkness by shining out in the world out there. Go ye, therefore, you can finish it. Okay, thank you.
Any questions? First two questions.
You can just make a call.
Pastor Oswell and Pastor Eli.